Welcome everyone to a special edition of Hot Takes with Billy Biz. And when I say hot, oh baby, it is hot in the valley today. So if you hear a little humming in the background, that is my fan, because I'm not going to sit through a 2-hour plus movie without a fan. Just not happening. But that's right. We are going to do a full feature-length film commentary. So what you can do is you can pull up this commentary either on YouTube or on iTunes, and then you can either pop in your Batman Forever DVD, Blu-ray, 4K, whatever. You can go to HBO Max. It's on DC, wherever you want to watch it, but then you can lower the volume there and listen to a commentary of Batman Forever with myself and, of course, Mr. Batman, Mr. Ed Greer.
Dude, thank you very much for inviting me into your podcast.
So we actually did. It was actually not the first episode that was released, but the very first episode that I ever recorded the show was you and me talking about Batman Forever. And it's always fun to do, an episode of the show, but there's just so many things when you push stop on the recorder. They're like, we forgot to mention this, or forgot to talk about that. This is being released on Tuesday, June 16th. That is the 25th anniversary of this movie. Can you believe 25 years?
Wow, man. I don't want to think about I don't want to think about what I thought I'd be by this time.
I mean, just the how many Batmen we've had since this movie came out, how just comic book movies in general have changed. So we're gonna do our best to go back in time. We're gonna watch this. I don't know. Maybe this is really boring and you hate it, or maybe this is a new thing that we just started doing. But we're gonna do it. So everyone, now get it all queued up on your end. We are queued up. So go ahead and push play, starting now. So right off the bat. No pun intended. I really liked. I'm a sucker for when they kind of do interesting things with the studio logo. So I thought it was really cool. Like, they just let you know what the movie's gonna be right away. It morphs into the bat, and then we get what is a really cool. It sounds amazing with these names flying by. It does look like a Windows 98 screensaver, but it sounds cool.
Hey, that Val Kilmer cut my hair just going, woo, Tommy Lee Jones.
Jim Carrey, man, this was like right after Ace Ventura, The Mask. This was probably like as big, I feel like, as box office as he was going to get, was about Batman Forever time.
Oh, my man Chris O'Donnell coming through. I'm old Robin.
Now, see, I like this because it kind of reminds me of, do you remember the first Batman where you're kind of going through this maze in the title credits and you didn't know where you're going to end up, and then you were in the Bat logo? Kind of similar.
Oh, man, the infamous cod piece, loke up section. We loking up. Get them all together.
But here's the thing. These Batman movies, to this point, there's only been 2, to be fair, but they were never really big on the gadgets of Batman. And so it was kind of cool to just start this movie, and it's like, look, we've got the batsuit. Batman's got a lot of toys. He's got a brand new car, because we'll just assume that they couldn't fix it from Batman Returns.
Can we talk about the fact that this Batmobile looks ribbed for her pleasure?
I mean, it's so cynical to think, but it's like, I loved this Batmobile, but they literally make this Batmobile so that you fall in love with it in the movie, you want to buy the toy, but then it never shows up again because it's going to be destroyed before this movie's over. So they knew this was a racket.
Well, dude, the things I don't like are anything that makes the Batmobile more visible at night. That's one of my main pet peeves.
So it's the blue in there.
Yeah, but again, it fits into this world.
Which already, it's like, it looks like such a different Gotham than what we had in the first 2 movies. Great shot, by the way, of this coin. Like, yep. A very misleading, thinking how cool Two-Face is going to be in this movie shot.
We're going to show you in slow-mo.
This whole monologue is actually pretty great. It's like the only time that Two-Face is like fairly restrained in this movie.
Yeah, Camden, man.
It almost pains me that it's Two-Face. Like, I could almost swallow this one part of the movie easier if you just told me it was a completely different character.
Well, I mean, I just think you can't say that they didn't try to do a version of Two-Face though, because like his pointy boot, one of his boots is like Castor Troy's boot from fucking Face Off, and his suit is leopard and stuff, and then the other side, they're trying. This is an interpretation of Two-Face, undeniably. It's just weird and dumb. I mean, I don't want to go there, but I just think look at how it's articulated. How it's like the garishness of it is too cartoonish.
Well,
but it fits into this world again.
It drives me nuts, and it's like this movie is not the only culprit of doing this. But I hate it when they interpret Two-Face to have an incredibly straight down the middle line. Like the one thing I loved about the Dark Knight one was like it bled a little bit over. It's just ridiculous that he like perfectly parallel lined, like got that piece of paper to get the acid to perfect. Well, dude, that is a beautiful shot, by the way.
Oh yeah, it's like Batman, who did your face tattoo? Banksy.
That shot of Batman coming down with the bat signal is like the most comic book looking thing I've seen in a comic book movie. Oh, here comes the worst psychologist maybe in film history. Through no fault of her own, poor Nicole Kidman is acting her ass off. And she just has to say the dumbest things in this movie. By the way, I love this movie. I adore this movie. I realize I've only said negative things so far, but poor Nicole Kidman's Dr. Chase. Just not very good at her job. They never have her say anything that makes you think she's the top of her field, you know?
Yeah, I think people are okay with that because it's in service of making Batman look smart, but yeah.
So it's like they have to dumb it down for the common man, and then so Bruce's intelligence is at least on the level of the common man, so that Chase has to pretty much be a Neanderthal for Batman to be intellectually superior.
Well, it's why in detective stories they're always like, look, he wears a size 12 shoe, but he actually wears a size 10. Ha-ha! It's really hard for people to write mystery because everybody's too stupid. Oh, dude, I don't get how these guys always have boys. Look at these guys. You're working for this guy. Why are you working for this guy? How bad is this economy? Like, look at these guys.
I just love that they're like totally confident in rocking spandex pants.
I mean, yeah, it's part of the universe.
Uniform. I guess these,
dude, neon Tommy guns. This is a Joel Schumacher idea incarnate.
I don't know. I think it's kind of neat.
I know. Joel Schumacher is kind of neat.
There's going to be a lot of neon in this movie.
Oh boy, I'm bracing myself. Ha ha, fools!
It's a cool entrance. I kind of like this fight, even though it gets a little banana pants with like the electrocution thing. But by the way, this is probably my favorite bat suit of all the Batman movies. Is this one? I think they like codenamed it like the Panther suit. It just looks sleek, and I'm all for it.
This one and the very first one are my favorite bat suits, in that order. Oh yeah,
there's that infamous face. What was that guy's game plan to just?
Well, dude, it's much akin to when the those Nazi dudes flew that plane into the tunnel chasing Indiana Jones. Like, what was your plan?
Oh, I love this guy so much. So initially, I guess they wanted Wayne Knight to be this guard, and he wasn't available. So they ended up just getting this guy who kind of seems like a Dollar Tree version of Wayne Knight.
It's like, hey, less calories.
Yeah, I can't imagine Wayne Knight having the upper body strength to hang on to a chain as a vault falls back into a building. I I think
Yeah.
you'd get a Newman pudding on the bottom of Gotham City.
Yeah, that perfect half of the face thing sucks. You're right. I keep looking at it.
It's just so perfectly symmetrical that it's frustrating.
And half of his suit looks like Nick Cage's suit from also that movie with the hurricane in it. Brian De Palma did it. Snake Eyes.
Oh, Snake Eyes, yeah.
The men we are today.
Boiling acid.
Hold on. Yes. Wow. They just kind of tilted this. That helicopter shot was in no way in the sky, which is great. Save some money.
I mean,
Whoa.
I think that's the thing that people don't remember necessarily about Batman Forever was that Batman Returns had kind of spooked Warner Brothers so much that this movie didn't get quite the publicity. It didn't get the budget. It didn't get the marketing blitz that some of the other Batman had got because at that point in time, they thought, well, Batman's dead. After one, not even failure, just less of a success.
Absolutely. Oh,
here it comes.
I love that Speak and Spell building.
I love how they just end up. There's no way that this grappling hook can hold this vault, first of all. But then they just reverse this shot from from it leaving. You know what? But when I was a kid, I was like, yeah, that's probably how it would go.
Yeah, that checks out.
I always loved how the chain kind of hung like that. Here comes some more neon.
Oh, I love that shot of Batman. Oh, yeah.
Here we go. That's a great hero shot of him trying to climb up the rope there. And this is a cool shot, too.
It does look heroic.
So they actually cut a line there that I guess some people were upset about, rightfully so. In the theatrical version, he says, "Farewell forever to that pointy-eared, cross-dressing night rat." And then in subsequent releases, they cut it. But I think it's actually on one of the trailers of the movie. But just goes to show you how far we've come since then, or at least they had the good sense to cut it then.
You need help. That's so ironic.
It puts a club on it. We used to use a club on the Honda Accord because it was the most stolen car out of our driveway. But that's such a 90s thing.
Well, dude, I love things that set things in a place and time. I saw a club the other day. Made me nostalgic.
Someone unironically was using a club.
Yeah. Oh, the yin and yang parachute. Oh. Oh, that's brutal.
I mean, it's pretty great when you start your movie. You start it by destroying the Statue of Liberty. That's not even your third act. But I like how Batman just looks up. He's like, I'm going to have to pay for that, aren't I? So this is all kind of like early 90s CG, and it definitely looks aged, but it still brings back a little bit of like I don't know, has a little bit of a feel of like the Burton kind of the architecture is bigger than life type of feel of Gotham, which I personally like. You know me, I want my Gotham City to look like something out of like a weird fever dream.
Oh yeah, no, I get that, but this Hudsucker proxy Batman stuff right here is hilarious to me.
I am a winner. Man, they copied so much of Guy Pearce's character in Iron Man 3, like down to the haircut from this movie.
Ed Begley Jr.
The thing is, Bruce Wayne is kind of a dick to him in this. Not even kind of. He's like straight up rude for no reason. Like, I'd be a little irritated too.
Well, dude, but it's part of some egghead described it as like, I forgot what it was, but it's basically when you know something about the character already as an audience, people feel free to have other characters act as though they know that already to like get jokes off. And it's a weird intertextuality type thing.
Yeah, it's just like
you know he's a bad guy, so it's okay for him to be a dick to him. But like, why is it he hasn't been a bad guy yet?
Right.
What is this, Minority Report?
Like, I don't know, if Bruce Wayne was just like that smarmy to me, like right off the bat, I'd be like, come on, man. Like,
yeah.
Don't be a dick.
Oh, no, look at this. He's wearing green. Nice touch. He's wearing green.
Here we go. The box. I never quite understood exactly what what his intention for this machine was, because I from my understanding, it's not that he wants to drain people's brains initially. He just realizes after he uses it once that that's like a side effect of it, right?
Right. And why does he have uncooked macaroni inside of it?
Oh, that looks... You know what? I always thought it was like those styrofoam peanuts, but I can't really tell.
Oh, it's something like that. Something nice and granular.
Oh,
maybe
look at that.
Looks like some tiny rigatonis. Maybe that's just the fat man in me.
It's just maybe you're hungry right now. I don't know.
Look at those little rigatonis on the Bruce Wayne screen. Oh, and that looks like the Millennium Falcon. That window looks like a Millennium Falcon, like that little section. This double lighting. Nice.
Like, what was Bruce Wayne's intention here? Like, he just walked in, was like, yep, this is a building, and then walks out. Like, he doesn't inspect anything.
Oh, dude, movie scenes are hilarious that way. Like, people having 3-second meals.
I'll make you understand. Now, this is cool. I always loved this, that he has basically his own little roller coaster that takes him all the way across Gotham in these pipes to the Batcave.
He's like he's in that pneumatic thing from the bank.
But you know, someone had to have dug this tunnel, right? It certainly wasn't just him and Alfred. So there has to be a handful
him and Alfred
of people.
in 2-hour shifts did all this. But that's what I'm saying. Like, Batman becomes an untenable prospect when you get this much infrastructure involved. Like, what did he subcontract every 4 miles of tunnel?
Right.
So they didn't know what the overall scope of it. And somebody out there's going, yes, Batman's that smart.
I mean, I know that logically a lot of this, like even what we just saw of the Batmobile going up and down these streets, like it's an elevator, doesn't make any sense whatsoever, but it just looks so much like a comic book. Like even with those like quasi shitty matte paintings in the back that I absolutely love.
Oh my God, I forgot this part.
Dude, this was the most boring part when I was a kid, and I'm pretty sure this part was the only reason my dad took me 3 or 4 times to go see it. She has crazy eyes in this scene.
Dude, and the light came up right when they started doing this exchange. The light came up on her face. It was nice.
And now we get a good look at the nips. That's a great joke.
Hey, dude, wait, what's up with Batman always dissing other professions? Try a fireman. I'm not wearing hockey pads. Other professions besides Batman are whack.
Well, we already know that Gotham police are not worth respecting.
Oh, snap.
Yeah, that's a nice little Batman Returns. That's really the only thing that literally that line and the casting of Alfred and Gordon are the only things that keep that movie somewhat in this weird continuity.
Right.
So does Gordon just live at the precinct?
No, there's 2 questions. Does Gordon just live at the precinct? That's number 1. Number 2, did she think she was just going to get to blow Batman real quick? Nobody would ever see this turned on, this major apparatus that shines across the entire city?
I actually just want to cut back to the conversation where he's just like, why are you in your underwear? And she's like, dude, I don't know. Why are you in your pajamas? And then they just walk away.
Hilarious, dude.
Oh, see, that window looks dope at night, though. I like it.
Yeah. No, it looks dope all the time.
Again, all of the lighting and the colors in this movie, it does feel like more colorful in that sense, but it also like what we've seen so far, it doesn't feel so out of step with Burton. It's still shot in a way that's like full of dark shadows, and like even right now it's very dramatic lighting, dramatic cinematography. Like it doesn't feel, it feels like a natural bridge between what had come before and the next movie that's gonna come.
Dude, Ed Begley Jr. getting to act this scene. That's why he was hired. This was the scene. This was the audition scene. This was the scene.
So really, if his invention was just like 3D, it's like, okay, this is like us now with these Oculus things. It's like, I guess so. I guess, but we already have 3D. Why do we have to wear like the biggest, clunkiest Wayne Zielinski helmet to do it?
You know what? I'm a sucker for big helmets. I'm telling you, dude, just imagine casting this and you got to do this stuff.
I mean, I wonder how much of this Jim Carrey, they were just like, just go nuts, say whatever you want to say, or do whatever you want to do.
Oh, heck yeah. I'm just saying, like, just imagine auditioning for the other guy.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, that's why Ed Begley Jr. is great, because you could just sit there and basically just play dead because everyone's watching Jim Carrey, but you touch that switch and which one? This? You know?
All that, yeah.
You know, there was always those rumors and talks that Robin Williams was also up for the Riddler, but he has a similar energy, but I don't know. I just, maybe it's just because I've seen this movie so many times. I can't picture anyone else being the Riddler but Jim Carrey.
I think Jim Carrey's perfect for this, yeah.
Definitely inspired by the Frank Gorshin version of the Riddler. You know,
well, yeah, he created it, right? Because he wasn't even. I freaked out when I found out Riddler wasn't in the comics before the '60s show. I think that's true.
I mean, I would kind of believe it. And really the only other adaptation you had was John Glover's kind of more subdued performance in Batman the Animated Series, which is just a very, very different take.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like, again, fans have a tendency to do this where they find a performance of one of these characters that they love, and that becomes the de facto way that the character always has to be forever.
Oh, absolutely. And then sometimes it just makes all the sense in the world, though. Like when somebody wants to do Dirty Harry in 20 years, what are they going to sound like? At the police.
Oh, I don't think so. You know, everyone in this movie is arguably as big as they are in Batman and Robin, but I still think that there's enough. This one tries a little harder to it tries, period, to ground it a little bit, whereas Batman and Robin, they don't even bother to try to ground it.
Oh, dude, the window in the first act goes off in the late first act.
You know, just watching this right now, I never realized, but if it was all hinging on that helmet, wouldn't his neck have just snapped anyways with that much pressure?
Hey, we're in Batman world. Everybody's body is 25% more cartilage.
See, he can still be menacing too. Ugh, this is the one part of the movie that I wish was not in the movie, because seeing Batman jump through a courtroom.
But look at this Banksy. Banksy is testifying against him. Ah! What a perfect throw! It's half my face exactly. Son of a bitch! I admire it, but it hurts.
But just seeing Batman running through a courtroom just looks odd to me,
dude.
In the middle of the day.
But this is my thing. I don't like any of. Oh, I love this though. They're talking, but they're not talking. You know,
right?
It's Batman and Commissioner Gordon, but not. Oh, I love this.
Oh, this is maybe my favorite like joke in this whole movie.
Yeah,
where he's like, you'll find that it matches his sentence structure completely. You know.
That lip suck.
I mean, this is probably where you could argue like it gets a little too cheesy or corny, but I think Jim Carrey makes it funny, so it's okay with me. This is hilarious to me, by the way. Yeah. Just like
he's like, watch me do my impression of Ronnie Cox and RoboCop. Yo. Goodbye, cruel world.
What was the point of calling Bruce Wayne for this? What did he need? What?
And what's the point of them shaking hands? Hey, well, he's dead. Yep. Shake on it. What was the point of any of that?
Oh, so now we get humanitarian Bruce.
Who are you taking to the charity circus?
You know, as you do, a charity circus. I loved these riddles. I thought that they were the way that they were done were so cool. They're kind of creepy looking, but also I just, you know, they're actually like interesting riddles. The Riddler.
These angles are kind of great.
There's so many
those tours.
This movie has a ton of like Dutch angles and just a lot of like perspective, more so than this movie gets credit for.
Oh, we now return to Cats, already in progress.
I love this Flaming Lip song. And this is like, is this an apartment? It just looks like a really long storage closet. Like it's just very narrow.
Yeah, well, that's pretty dope though. It's like emphasizing the crappiness of shitty Gotham City living. Like this is Bruce Wayne's bathroom. He'd have to knock out 5 walls to make a suitable bathroom.
It's just so narrow that it's just like I don't even see a bed in there.
Who says he goes to sleep, Billy?
That's true. Maybe that's why he's so crazy. It's just he's so tired. Here we get our first look at the new Wayne Manor. They chose a new location for this movie.
Dueling horses.
I don't know why, but it always makes me laugh. He's like Wayne Manor, as if everyone just calls the house a manor, just like Bruce Wayne's mansion. It's like no, it's a manor.
It's like when people try to dish you, but they still have to show you respect,
right?
Like, oh, what a crappy king this guy is.
I always thought this shot was interesting, just because, like, look at all the cars, like. I truly don't know what time period this Batman movie is supposed to be in. Maybe that's why I like it, because it feels like 40s, yet 90s, you know?
And with a little bit of Euro. Like that police car, I think that was a European, a period European police car in Gotham City. You know what I mean? That's a lot of production value, baby.
There's another Dutch angle here.
Oh, yeah. Because something's not quite right.
Dang. Is this her office or her apartment?
I think this is like Friends. People just live everywhere.
Well, it's just like I don't know. I kind of feel like it's inappropriate to have all your workout gear in your office, which, by the way, is 5, 6, 7 times the size of Edward Nygma's weird crap hole.
Uh-huh. I like subtle putovers like that. Like he can bust down a big giant door like that. It wasn't a regular door. They made sure it wasn't just a regular door.
It's like solid oak.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I see my go.
No, I was just gonna say this is probably the worst offender of the scenes where, like, I just feel like the screenwriters have no respect for this character of Chase Meridian. Just like the way that it's acted, it's like watch him solve the riddle before she does and kind of make her seem stupid for it. So she's thinking, and he's just like, it's a match, you dumb bitch. Like, like he has such like contempt for her as like a thinking person. I don't know. Maybe I'm just reading way too much into it, but it just seems like this movie goes out of its way to have her be not helpful whatsoever.
Well, I mean, but all superhero things go out of their way to make people who see the Batman or the Superman outside of their super or batness, and they can't see that it's the same man in front of their face.
Right.
There's so many scenes where they just milk that, and this is yet another one. Like, hey, you wanted to give me a Bat BJ on top of a building like 12 hours ago, and you can't recognize this beautiful Top Gun mouth structure?
I just don't understand. It's like, if Bruce knows what those are, and he's already been somewhat condescending to this psychologist already as Batman, it's like, well, then why did you come here? What did you think she was gonna like help you with?
Well, I think if somebody came up with this Two-Face doll, and they were like, oh, we got to use this. Where could it be? Chase Meridian's crib. She's got pretty teeth. I mean, the way that they sit in her mouth is pretty cool.
I mean, she probably has the best teeth that we've seen so far. We've seen a lot of close-ups, and she probably has the best teeth out of all of them.
She's just handling that teeth business.
I think Bruce Wayne would get himself Me Too'd. Like, tell me, Doctor, do you like sexual innuendos? I love that matte painting of the...
Yeah. It's like a Fleischer background.
Yeah, you just don't... Oh, my goodness. That guy is chiseled as hell.
There's a lot going on with the design of everything in this.
But it's just like it's so big and over the top that I just kind of... I accept it a little bit more.
Well, they're putting on a show.
Right. What kind of doctor? That's Bob Kane's wife.
Nice.
Yeah. Gossip Gertie.
I think this could have been Eric Bogosian.
I was so happy as a kid that they were finally bringing Robin into the fold. Because, you know, they had just talked about for so long how they're like, no, we don't want to do Robin. No Robin. And then you always would hear after the fact that Robin was in the script and they would always cut it out from the first two movies. So we're finally getting it.
It's like, oh, you almost got Marlon Wayans. Oh, you almost got him.
That would have been an interesting dynamic, Val Kilmer and Marlon Wayans.
I love the whole Grayson thing. Like, honestly, him being dope before he even meets Batman is a real put over. It really makes it almost make sense that he could just endanger children.
I mean, look at that ass. That is the ass of America's hero. That is America's ass. Forget Chris Evans and Captain America. Chris O'Donnell, that is America's ass.
Chris O'Donnell years ago was America's ass.
95, Chris O'Donnell. He had it going on.
And look at Commissioner Gordon. Just watch Commissioner Gordon in these scenes. Just forget what these guys are talking about. Just look at Commissioner Gordon. He's just like, oh, yeah.
How do they do that?
This is like Cirque du Soleil.
Cirque du Soleil. Now I'm never going to not be able to see his mouth agape the whole time. I'll see, this was edgy Dick Grayson because he had an earring.
Yeah. Wow.
I just don't think that was worth the trick. If I were a trapeze person, I would not do this stuff without a net. Like, there had to be some sort of backup safety protocol in place, right?
Bonk.
I remember this shot of him kind of doing the aerial flip was like in the trailer, but also like the Kiss from a Rose music video. That right there.
Oh, yeah. Dick Grayson's dad is hella buff.
I mean, all of them are, really.
Yeah. But he's like ready for Freddy, like old man strength.
I'm kind of glad circuses aren't a thing anymore.
Well, just the elephants and tigers and stuff. These dudes can break their asses all they want. Just don't throw no tigers and elephants up in there.
So this part, even as a kid, I was like, all right, everyone acts shocked in just a second, but doesn't that whole half of the round theater see his face already? Like, they know who it is.
Yeah, the Riddler's like opening his mind to costume crime. See, why would acid make your face purple like that or neon purple? It's just odd.
It could be just like the surgeon tried his best to fix it. I don't
To
know.
make him look like a Power Rangers villain? Like,
Yep.
what are you talking about? George Wallace.
So you never quite figure out why Edward's gripe is against Bruce, not Batman. But here he's just like, you know what? Killing Batman would be awesome. I guess you just have to move the plot along.
I always love scenes where he tries to find a way to be Batman.
No one heard that. No one. Not even the person like behind him.
And why is Harvey? Well, I guess it isn't Harvey, but why are so many of his villains? They'll tie him up and put him next to an acid bomb and talk to him for 20 minutes and never take off his mask. But then all of a sudden they get a wild hair up their butt to unmask him in certain plots. It's like, come on. Oh, dude. These guys are the John McClane of doing flips. They're participating.
I always loved that. I love that
They're brave.
this
He comes
is
from brave
just
stock.
insane. They're just like monkey bar.
I forgot what a great putover this is for the Robin character because like he comes from just like the let's roll type people, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it gives you an insight into like why he's so adamant about becoming a hero. It's because like that's kind of what his family, they're all about, just springing into action, doing the right thing. Like I actually really like this interpretation of Dick Grayson.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't get annoying until the next movie.
Holy rusted metal, Batman.
I mean, that's a great line. It's a great joke.
It is. We're gonna see it later. Oh man. Haha. Nobody saw Bruce Wayne with that perfect super kick. Let's figure everybody's taking some martial arts these days. Especially if you're rich.
I love how everyone is moving in regular motion, but they're falling in slow motion.
It's called art.
There's those great matte paintings again. I think you can see the Wayne Tech W over there.
I mean, that's just so sick.
That was a small bomb for how big it was. That's very comic book-esque, I kind of feel like, the way that they shot them dead on the floor there.
Oh no, yeah, it's almost as though they're projectiles and they're hitting a target, and they're next to the bullseyes of being dead.
I just wonder how that one guy got his hand like behind his back.
Well, I mean, a lot of the drawings of their deaths look basically exactly like that from the different comic interpretations, which is weird. It's like you got such continuity that somebody has to draw the death of a bunch of trapeze dudes like a bunch of different times, like
There's
dueling
those.
horses.
I like too that the penis is hidden by a rock, so it looks like they're just screwing a rock.
Like a rock. I was hard as I could be. He's a personal kid deliverer. I mean, just this guy.
Well, the only issue this raises is how old do they want us to reasonably believe that Dick is in this movie? Like, the youngest that I will even, like, fathom, and even this is a stretch, is, like, 17. Because if he's 18 or over, there's no way that the police are going to, like, try to find a home for him, you know?
Yeah, I think he's got to be... I think they want us to think 16, 17. Obviously, we know that's preposterous.
Right.
But I think that they want us to think that, and I'll just roll with it. Because everybody in movies is always so damn old.
I mean, I'll believe 17 just because there's no way that an 18-year-old would, like, be a ward to someone, you know?
No, exactly. And plus, Oh, Metropolis. Oh.
I remember as a kid, I was like, "Oh, Superman's gonna be in the next one." What an idiot! I was that idiot. I was that kid in school. Just one Easter egg, and I was like, "Oh, well, Superman's obviously in the next one." Bruce Wayne has his own gas station.
When I say the boy got his own money, I mean he got his own money.
I really like those glasses, by the way.
He keeps saying Bruce like, dude. Look at all these bikes, dude.
I know nothing about motorcycles, so this doesn't really do anything for me, but I'm happy he's happy.
Well, 1917 Harley's pretty hardcore. But he's old, and he shouldn't have to do stuff like this.
Yeah, what is Alfred's exact job title here?
Dude,
Mechanic?
Well, and the funny thing is, Alfred's salary probably is commensurate with the amount of work he does. I mean, Alfred.
But when does Alfred
has
have time to
unlimited
spend
money.
it? Oh, those onion. Look at that burger. That burger looks so freaking good right now. With onion rings on it? Are you kidding me? Unless he just went to Carl's Jr. and just presented it really nicely.
Yeah, Dick Grace's like, give me some of them onion rings, dog.
Now, this is interesting. So, I always thought, there's this kind of thing amongst nerds that Batman Begins is a great Batman movie, which it is, but because it's the first movie that's not about the villains, it's about Bruce and about Batman. And I always say, I actually think it's Batman Forever, because when you really think about whose point of view this movie's from, when you think about the first Tim Burton Batman movie, that movie is closer in format to like Beauty and the Beast, where we're kind of following Vicky Vale and Batman's the Beast and Joker's Gaston. It's kind of Vicky's point of view on everything. And Batman Returns is obviously Catwoman and Penguin they split that's both of their stories, and Batman just kind of ties them together. But this movie is about Bruce and about Batman and what he's dealing with and the choices that he's going to have to make here. And I always loved this scene of where, he sees the gunman, and to me it always looked like Harvey, like he was kind of projecting Two-Face in there a little bit. And that kind of goes with some stuff in the comics where there was a period of time where Batman would kind of see whatever villain he was fighting like as his parents' killer, kind of like that was his motivation, his driving force. And I always liked, the theme of this movie is not shying away from the killing that he has done in the other movies. He's basically saying like, yeah, I go looking for another face every night, and it's never enough, and I don't want that for you, Dick.
Yeah. And in this movie, I got two faces, and then I got another face, so I got three faces. So maybe I'll take on Two-Face, and you take on the other face.
Three-Face. Three-Face and Superman are going to be in the next movie. That's what Elementary... it's, it's funny too because, yeah, there definitely was the scene in Batman '89 where he kind of like puts the two and two together that Jack Napier maybe killed his parents, but he didn't really like dwell on it or deal with it. It was just kind of like putting two and two together. But this was really the first movie where he has to like deal with the trauma of his dead parents.
Yeah, he doesn't really have time in the second one.
The second one, it's like purposefully Batman is not in it as much, Well,
I think it's one of those cases where I think Tim got a little bored of Batman already. You know what I'm saying? Like these super smart guys, they just go like, I don't even want to do Batman anymore. I want to do Batman without Batman. That's my challenge.
He was definitely more into Penguin and Catwoman, which is why that movie is their movie,
Yeah.
There's another Banksy original, the Robin helmet.
I'll tell you that. Oh, man. People are great artists in movies.
I love this version of Alfred. Like I love the sarcastic, smarmy, maybe a little bit more physically mobile Michael Caine version, but there's just like a sweetness to this Michael Goff interpretation.
Well, what's beautiful is I think we're in the heyday of the old Alfred, because straight up in the future they're gonna start doing that Beware the Batman Alfred, who's like a tough guy who's kind of gone to seed a little bit.
Right.
Watch that be your grandchildren's Batman, or rather your grandchildren's Alfred.
I mean, that was
a tough guy.
That was kind of, in my opinion, Jeremy Irons' Alfred.
It's edging towards that. That's what I'm saying. Jeremy Irons is the bridge.
Here we just get some straight up Batman action. I think they were just like, all right, we've done a lot of talking in the last 10, 15 minutes. We'll just throw in an action scene.
I love that super curly Q Dutch tilt thing they did to suggest speed, because they were going 25 miles an hour.
And now we'll speed. So does he not have a foot pedal?
Oh, I love the sideways wheels. I mean, it's crazy stupid to me, but it's also pretty cool right there.
I mean, a lot of people have a big problem with the fact that the Batmobile is going to grapple up the side of a building and drive. I'm just like, is that not what you did with your toys when you were a kid? Because I certainly did. If I had like a Batmobile or any sort of like toy car, I would drive it in ways that the laws of physics would never actually allow for.
Well, we also have seen him grapple. I mean, he grappled to turn a corner in 2 movies ago. So the grapple technology has graduated. God, that half a face sucks. You ruined it, Billy. Now I can't not see it. How perfect it is.
How so absolutely perfect the line is.
And I know I saw it as perfect before, but like you just mentioning it make it so worse. Just a little bit of edges. Just a little bit of edges.
Just a little bit of smear. Yeah.
A smear of edges.
Come on, I think this is pretty cool.
I think Batman's face looks pretty cool when he's driving. Just the wheelie, he's doing a wheelie before. I think that was the part that was kind of weird.
I mean, but that's an awesome shot right there. Look at that.
I mean, that's super sick. But again, it's almost like, yeah, why did you guys all run up in here and die again?
You know, your cars do have brakes too.
They were just so transfixed by the dopeness of Batman driving up the wall.
I also want to know, like, okay, what happens when Batman gets to the very top? Like, how does he get his car down, essentially?
Well, they cut away, Billy. That's how he gets it down. They cut away.
This scene is so stupid, but I love it so much.
Dictionary.
The gamester.
The gamester.
You know why this scene is so funny? Because by this point, we've seen all of these villains just kind of show up and announce themselves. But this is like the super like meta peel back the curtain. Like, yeah, they probably had to brainstorm for a little bit before he landed on Joker. He was probably walking halfway home and he was like, Death Clown. I'm going to be Death Clown. And he's like, you know what? No, I think that doesn't work. It sounded cooler 10 minutes ago.
Look at these! Look at these. Like I said, these are period and European. I think the cop cars in Gotham.
The thing in the background kind of looks like the doll. I wonder if that was intentional.
Yeah.
Look at
bunch
that
of motifs. Oh,
perfectly, that perfectly lined face.
I'm not looking at them. I mean him.
Neo, were you listening to me, or were you looking at the woman in the red dress?
Dude, I like me some Drew Barrymore baby fat ass. She's just a cutie pie. And that's Debbie Mazar too, right?
Yes. This was probably the first movie that because I did not see Jaws until I was an adult. That was probably the first movie I saw Drew Barrymore in.
Raw ducky meat.
Look, you could see Riddler in the background right there. He kind of screwed up his intro. You could see him waiting there the whole time.
Oh, that's nice. Easter eggs, baby. This costume's tight.
Literally. So I was always confused. So from this point on in the movie, whenever he's just Edward and he's not the Riddler, he kind of has normal brown Jim Carrey haircut. Is that a wig? Like now his real hair is always going to be this buzzed orange hair? Or is this the wig?
Riddle me this. What is your hair care routine?
That's the real question I have for this is what is Edward's default hair state now?
I love the Two-Face gun design. Honestly, this weird, probably used for Olympic shooting weirdo magnum he has this whole movie. It's just pretty cool.
It's a pretty big gun.
Yeah, it's interesting looking.
I remember the action figure for Two-Face had the gun like actually molded into his hand, so you couldn't take it out. It was just like a part of his hand.
Like, how does Two-Face pee? He uses the other hand, but that other hand is like just in like a cup shape.
I love this. Thank you.
I love the yeah.
I just don't think that they would make a comic book movie like this anymore, sadly.
Well, just look how brave you'd have to be to do this performance at all. And I'm not talking about brave like soldier or fireman. I'm talking about brave as in performer brave.
Just like complete lack of like self-consciousness.
Right. I mean, imagine this is your audition scene. Come in, make an entrance, go.
I mean, I can't believe that they would make Jim Carrey audition at this point. They're probably banging down his door.
Yeah, that's true. I'm just thinking about the other poor schleps who had to do all that and didn't even get cast. Boink.
Had Riddler and Two-Face really ever paired up like in the comics or the animated series like before this? It just seems like such a strange pairing.
You said paired up. Does he have rouge on, or did they spray paint his hair and hit his face?
Again, so many questions about the appearance of Edward Nygma in this movie.
You know what I'm saying? Because look, right under his mask, he's got some rosy-ass cheeks looking like Pee Wee Herman.
I mean, his skin looks so smooth
And he's got Ivan Drago's haircut, too, if you really look at it.
I mean, it's like, look at Jim Carrey's skin, and then, you know, no offense to Tommy Lee Jones, but it looks a little like a cheese grater went on the side of his face. I wonder what filming scenes like that were actually like that day, now that we know how much Tommy Lee Jones just did not like him.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking this whole time, too. Like, looking at him, it's like, yeah, we're acting, we're professionals, but, like, you suck. I hate that you get paid to play around, and I went to, like, Juilliard or whatever.
As he has this stupid thing on the side of his face.
Right. So he can't even pretend he's better than that.
Oh, here we go.
Oh,
Most controversial scene in this movie. Karate laundry.
It's karate lingerie.
Okay, I know it's dumb. I know it's like cheesy, but at the same time, it's like, okay, we know he's good at acrobatics, but without having to get really into like a weird like exposition, we now know that he can fight with wet laundry.
We also know he can mop really well because he did that like 2 frames.
Yeah, so if this superhero thing doesn't work out, there's a janitor job.
I'm a super janitor.
I love that joke of him not being able to punch correctly.
Yeah. I love how Homeboy has they have tiaras on and like
the jewelry.
earrings. They look like the queen. That's so awesome.
GNN.
Gotham News Network.
Dude, how long would it have taken Edward to make the production value for his riddles are just getting.
I think he subcontracted it through Etsy.
That was intended to be the first riddle, but due to shipping delays.
We do apologize. What do you got back there? Some kind of Batcave?
It's such a dark joke. Master Wayne's dead wives. There's that Dutch angle.
Yeah.
So yeah, is this the wig? Is this now the wig that Edward wears?
The dog. The dog.
I mean, that would be interesting data to get, is what a dog actually is thinking.
What would you use it for?
I don't know. It's like, if you could scientifically prove what your dog was thinking, couldn't you market better products to the dog's owners? It's like, hey, I know for a fact your dog doesn't like that canned food.
Yeah.
He told me.
And I can show you with this data that I stole. Siri's been talking to your dog while you were at work. But and speaking of which, this whole scheme is very much like fishing. This is like a big metaphor for like fishing or fishing meaning like the computer scamming stuff.
PH fishing.
Yeah. It's like he's just jacking everybody's passwords and you know what I mean? Just he's using usable data. He's not just getting your memories or something. He's not.
Yeah, I guess
Freddy
in a way,
Krueger.
it's kind of like ahead of its time in terms of like, now that happens to us every day, essentially. You know. Okay, here's a tip. If you're gonna try to break into somewhere, maybe not yell out "now" right before you do it. You kind of lose your element of surprise.
Today. That's the part that I hate. This is the only part of that I really dislike. The all the way through the thing, because who opens the door to it? That whole part sucks to me. I don't.
Okay, wait. Explain what about it?
I just the momentum carrying him all the way down into the Batcave. It's awesome and terrible. That's all I'll say. But yeah, I love this. The Batcave is almost opening its wings for him right now.
And Alfred's like, "Uh-oh."
And he's like, again? Dang it. I just keep letting fools down here.
Yeah, you know what's interesting is like, at least in these first 4 movies of Batman, is they almost try to do the James Bond formula where he has a new girl every movie and all the girls find out he's Batman, and it just it doesn't work for Batman, but they keep doing it every time. Like, this will be the third woman that he falls in love with and will eventually tell her that he's Batman.
Yeah. If I were trying to psychologize it, I would think that he's just trying to make it to where he can't be Bruce Wayne anymore. If I were going to try to make a plot reason, like a real reason,
Right.
he just keeps trying to ruin it. He's just like, okay, well, I'll have to be driven over underground and have to fight crime all the time. Oh, what a horrible time. What a horrible problem that would be. You know what I mean? I think he kind of wants that.
I also think that it's kind of... Okay, so it must be her apartment, not her office, if she has like a kitchen that she's making tea in, right?
Right. And her office thing, her having gym equipment in there earlier, I just think that was them trying to make her seem like a workaholic. But go ahead.
No, I was just going to say I'm just so thrown off by where we actually are.
Where's she coming out of? It's like a Frasier set.
It's just also like... Is he her patient? Is he not? Because it's like kind of unethical that they're like kind of dating, but then she also like diagnoses him. I just feel like someone needs to do like a peer review of Chase Meridian.
But also, doesn't this have a tinge of she already knows that he's Batman to it? This whole monologue.
It certainly is reeking of like TMI, you know? Like I don't care why you're that into him.
Somewhere there's a teenage boy listening to this and they're like, girls always do that. They're always telling you about some other guy all the time. What are you talking about, Billy?
So it's like, again, they're about to make out here, and it's like, okay, that's fine if he just came over to like hang out. But it's like, was this a session? Because you ended up talking about like, you know, his repressed memories and stuff. Like, I don't know. All of this is just weird in any other movie. But this movie, it's like, well, yeah, of course. That's what happens. Batman's James Bond. He's going to make out with the girl. Even if it's his doctor. Who doesn't make out with their doctor?
What's up, Doc?
Oh,
Johnson.
I love this Dick Tracy watch.
Uh-oh.
No, sir. The other car.
Look at this face. It's great. Oh, that's the reason why I hated that scene, because watching his fins waggle, horrible. It horrifies me.
With the Offspring playing.
Yeah, it's dual horror. This is like if the Warriors was like in neon.
See, I kind of love this gang because it's like if it was just thugs or whatever, it would be stupid. But it's like this makes it uniquely Gotham. It kind of reminds me a little bit of the mutants from The Dark Knight Returns. Like,
right. What's up? I'm Batman. I got one earring. That's In Vogue. Oh my God. That's the R&B group In Vogue.
It's crazy that there's no foot pedal for this Batmobile.
Well, I think it's kind of cool, so you could do a lot of maneuvers without having to get all the way to the pedals.
Yeah, I guess so.
Wait, why would he get out of the car?
Yeah, just fire a missile. I guess
because they're
kill
grabbing
her.
this lady. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was about to say, what? But yeah, they're grabbing that lady. I forgot.
I mean, come on. This is pretty cool.
Well, that main guy is ill. I've seen him in a couple other things. He's good.
I mean, the glow sticks are kind of dumb, but...
Well, I mean, yeah, everybody waiting their turn, flipping glow sticks, so you're very cognizant of the fact that they're waiting their turn, causes this to be a little bit terrible. On the... look, I judge things on a John Wick or not basis.
I mean, I'll tell you right now, not John Wick.
That was pretty all right, though. He broke them all off. Schumacher, you devil.
What if she had like herpes?
Oh, spaghetti.
I always
That
thought
one
that
guy
guy.
looked
Yeah. This just looks like the Ultimate Warriors, like
Yeah.
vomited all over a bunch of.
Well, dude,
Road
Ultimate
Warriors.
Warrior, I saw a guy on the thing that looked like
That shot
Macho
is
Man
awesome.
Savage.
Sorry to
Yes.
cut you off. That shot is
Yeah.
awesome, and it is the most Tim Burton-esque Batman shot in this movie. Sorry, what were you saying?
No. He gets it. He gets the fly down, the glide down.
Also, what vehicle did Batman use to get there? Yeah, I always liked this scene because you really this scene I feel like is kind of the crux of like the real meat of the movie, which is Batman has kind of, or Bruce has already kind of made his choice as to who he's going to be and what kind of a protector he's going to be. Because really, in this movie, he's kind of like, I made this promise that I would protect the people, but I'd be lying if I said I didn't do this for myself. And now he sees someone else right at the edge, and it's kind of like seeing yourself before you made a massive decision that changed your life, and wondering like what you could have done differently. Because obviously Dick is just like, even I felt good out there even when I was fighting you. Like, he just wants to fight because he's angry.
Yeah.
And I feel like this monologue that Bruce is giving here is just like, it's the ultimate kind of acknowledgement that maybe Batman isn't this noble idea, that it's actually, at least for this interpretation of the character, like kind of like self-centered.
Well, like plainly that it's an addiction.
Right. But I think there's kind of like this thing that's like, oh, Batman like protects people because he doesn't want that to happen to his parents. Like, yeah, but also like he just like he kind of just wants revenge on everybody, and he just kind of takes it out on the people who quote unquote deserve it.
Right. Well, there's a certain type of person who thinks that any affront to them is an affront to all people. So in this case, his privilege and that point of view actually ends up helping the populace.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But it's definitely like some narcissism,
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, that's the beautiful thing about Batman as a myth, though. Rich guy who cares, myth. Rich guy who can fight, myth. Rich guy who cares and fights crime, myth.
Rich guy who doesn't help donate to any social programs to make Gotham better as it is, reality. Because
where does he get those wonderful toys? He takes them out of orphanages.
They bring this up in Dark Knight Rises for half a second, but it's just like Bruce Wayne could do more for Gotham than Batman ever could, but he doesn't really even try,
Well, but see, again, I like I said, I've made that point a few times, but I think I've come all the way around to I love it now when I see them make Batman fight stuff that you can't fight with money. Like, no amount of money would make Edward Enigma not want to mind control everybody. Enigmatech is his biggest Napster.
Outcoiffed. I mean, it's great. He has the exact same Bruce Wayne haircut. I love it. I love that he still can't get over, like, it wasn't enough to be friends with Bruce. Now he wants to be Bruce and be a better version of it.
Yeah.
What a great line that I did not understand as a kid. I just didn't put it together. But when he's like, Chase, and what a grand pursuit you must be.
It's so funny how like, that's funny.
Well, it's like I'd seen this movie so many times as a kid, but there's just like nuances that I'm just too stupid at 8 years old to figure out, you know? What does he have on his head?
Those kind of like,
Are those glasses? Or just
they're
like really
kind of those
gross
ringlets.
curls?
Yeah, those like ringlet
Ugh.
curls.
Ugh. Shower, please. Those look like sweaty, greasy little onion rings on the top of your head.
Bob Kane's wife has a lot of lines.
I wonder why.
How many lines did Bill Finger's wife?
That's like,
they got the glasses on too.
it's like how many Jack Kirby family cameos were in Marvel movies. Jim Carrey is just so Jim Carrey in this movie, and I'm totally fine with it.
Well, I think it's just really interesting how all of these things. Just imagine a slightly more modulated performance would probably be out of place in this thing. Even Bruce Wayne was getting a little campy and hammy just now.
Again, of course, it's a glow stick. Why wouldn't it be a glow stick?
It's in this movie.
Sure, if you just stick a glow stick into a power socket, you could power your whole home for a year.
Dude, I'm surprised that the tie-in drink wasn't some like chartreuse Mountain Dew monstrosity.
And another glow stick.
Oh, yeah. I had totally forgotten that Bruce Wayne gets literally tricked into going in there and basically mind controlled. I totally forgot that.
I mean, Nigma is smarter than him.
This also reminds me of the game. I know it doesn't remind anybody else of that, but like in the game, they scan Michael Douglas's brain and they make him go through all these dumb tests to figure out how to manipulate him. And this is like a proto version of that scene to me.
This just feels very like Demolition Man.
And very virtuosity.
Virtuosity. The best Russell Crowe performance you've never seen.
I love it.
I think about this point in the movie on is where Two-Face almost becomes insufferable.
Yeah. Debbie Mazar's dress has skulls on it. Nice.
Oof. How did he not just burn the skin right off his hand going down that ladder?
Well, you know, he does gripping exercises.
Neon in the guitars.
Yep. Two different types of champagne in the glasses. Nice.
Ew, she has to kiss the gross side of his mouth too.
Debbie Mazar, American treasure.
Oh, here we go. The best part of this whole movie.
Uh-oh. It's Batman. Yeah.
Batman, yeah. The crazy thing about that is that I just saw a trailer for Batman Forever the other day. I was looking at the old trailers, and that moment is in the trailer, and that line is not there. Which means that line was ADR'd. It was chosen to be put in there.
I need some dope clothes to wear to fight crime.
but I'll settle for these.
I'll settle for these. That's a callback to his previous fighting style.
Right,
Very
yeah.
efficient.
In the first Tim Burton Batman movie when he's fighting in the alley. All right. Do you not care, Chase, that like people are dying and the bad guy's getting away?
I mean, there's so many ill-timed kisses in this movie. I count 3. That was hilarious. That was so funny. Yeah, see, I think I would just cut out anything that makes Batman look slow or like a person. I think doing stuff like that makes Batman so much more of an idea.
You know, as old as this movie is, 25 years, I still think that this is like a cool sequence of him jumping, and it doesn't look awful. Like, that's just a cool way to track it.
I mean, that looked like Blade 2.
Oh, when he jumps out of the window?
Yeah. Just for such a detective, Batman's propensity to get trapped is just enormous.
Oh, first fart joke in a Batman movie that I can remember.
Oh, this is my joint. Oh,
I don't know.
love this.
I don't know what that does, but I love it.
It added the extra sheen. He put the soul glow on it. That's why he can't get burnt up.
I think this is one of the coolest Batman shots from any Batman movie is running out of the flames. And that.
Bad-ass.
Look at that. Come on. I mean, it's followed with him looking like a chump, but coming out of those...
Well,
coming out of
like,
those flames
no,
is awesome.
No, that's like you do a fresh skateboard trick, and then you try to do a simple ollie up onto the curb, and you break your ankle. Because he looked really cool coming out, and then just, the dismount was terrible. And he needs his little buddy to help him out. My buddy.
I mean, would he have been fine in there if Robin had never come?
Yes, but shut up. My buddy.
My buddy and me. I
Looks
love
like you
kind of
need a
the homage to the classic costume here.
Ah.
Nice little Easter egg. So I remember when I watched this movie, I picked up "Screw You" and said it to my mom, not realizing that that's not something that you say to your mom. It was something stupid too. It was like, go fold the towels. And I was like, screw you. And she was like, what? I didn't realize that it was pretty offensive to say to a parent. I like the little bat closet that they make for this movie. The little hall of weapons and suits in there.
Well, I love this that Alfred exchange where he's like, young men don't need. Oh God, L'Oreal. Maybe it's Maybelline.
Yeah, who shot that footage for him to look at?
Annie Leibovitz. I don't know about why. She's pretty stupid on riddles, Alfred. Shut up.
I'm a better psychologist than she is.
Don't you decide something to do with your eyebrows, old man?
She doesn't sleep on a pillow?
Nah, man. She knows about proper neck support.
There's just something so silly about seeing Batman come to your bedroom window.
You look like a leather daddy Dracula. You look like Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, it looks like they're trying to like suck the food out of each other's mouths there.
What's that? Privilege? Pain? mm.
But you know what's funny is like she's had one scene where she's like connected with Bruce, and it's just like this complete reversal feels a little unearned. But at this point in the movie, it's like I don't know how much more time I want to spend on their romance, you know? He's like, well, thanks for blue balling Gotham's protector.
I mean, yeah, like, yeah.
Like, if Bruce wasn't Batman, what a colossal waste of Batman's time. Like, how many people are dying right now?
I understand you don't want this wiener that's been inside a leather suit for 3 hours minimum.
Probably looks like your hands when you've been in the pool for too long.
And dude, it's so funny, Batman doing a little bat smile. That was funny. Because like he's like, Bruce Wayne won for once over Batman. You know what I mean? That's kind of interesting.
I think it's the only time that
Batman
smiles in costume in a movie.
Let me guess. Bat montages? Pearls? Yep. 1 for 1. Okay.
So I wonder, like, does this machine just take a bunch of thoughts and tries to put an image to it? Or is Bruce Wayne literally just walking around thinking of a flapping bat on a black background?
He's got... Oh, dude. It's so funny.
It's like one of those things that
what?
Like, that
Where
works.
did that come from?
Because now he's going to get chased. He'd rather get his rocks off than, you know, go be Batman every night.
You know what? I can't believe it. I willfully blocked this part of this movie out because I was so mad when they kept trying to do it with the Nolan trilogy. Like, he said like he wanted to quit every 5 seconds and he never had any fun. And it's in this too. Damn it.
But to be fair, he's had years of being Batman under his belt at this point.
Yeah. But they're still glow stick gangs. He's not done. And there's a new breed of super criminal. This is the worst time to stop.
Yeah, it is kind of weird that he's not like, after I get Riddler, it's over.
No.
It's like, no, I'm done. Like, I need to get off. That was a weird line reading. Chases. Like, it was very Shatner-esque. Coming over for dinner.
I got this whole routine I run on chicks. I'll put them at one end of a long table and then ask them to pass me the salt. And then...
That's my move. And then have Alfred make me a completely different second dinner.
So I'll give them like spaghetti and ketchup, right? And I'll have like foie gras and like roast duck, and I'll see how they take it. You know what I mean? It's really cool.
That's a cool shot. Those bat
I think
costumes.
that's the first bat suit. Yeah, that one is the first bat suit.
See, I love this. This is the first time that like they really show off like the gadgetry and stuff. Like before, the Batcave just felt like a cave that he kind of like, you know, put some TV mounts in. But this like feels like a real working like headquarters, you know?
Yeah.
You know that he's super confident when he's wearing a turtleneck. He's like,
And they're both wearing black too. You notice that?
he's like, I'm gonna get laid no matter what, so I'll wear a turtleneck. I don't care.
Well, dude, but Batman wears turtlenecks. You remember? Michael Keaton wore turtlenecks.
Can we as a society just put a ban on turtlenecks? No one looks good in a turtleneck. No one.
Look, some people need symbolical foreskin around their necks. Some people need it.
I thought you were gonna say like Symbicort. I was like, maybe. I don't know.
Or maybe it's symbiotic. They need symbiotic foreskin around their neck. Eddie, I'm around your neck.
So if this takes place on Halloween and Batman Returns is Christmas, then I guess we can assume that it's pretty much been a year since the last time that we've checked in with Batman.
I just love the stupid mincing walks that both of the villains have. It's almost like they're dressing up to go on Halloween, which I guess is the point of the scene, but like,
oh.
All right. That was pretty suggestive.
Yeah.
And they were both so into it, which is, good for them.
I remember that was very controversial when, like, about a month before this movie came out, there were reports, like, that the Riddler and Two-Face were going to have this, like, gay relationship between the two of them. And that, I don't see that that's the case in this movie. But I definitely, as a child, remember, like, I think it was either my dad or my grandma had, like, I don't know, CNN or one of those, like, all news all the time networks where they just have to kind of make things up to fill time. And that was, like, one of the big stories was, like, are the villains gay and Batman Forever?
Wow. You must have been watching that on GNN.
Clearly the country must have been doing great at the time if that was, like, the big story headlining that show.
This funeral is shot very, very David Fincher shooting an ad for cologne.
I mean, there was a lot more to this, if you have the Blu-ray or DVDs or even you just go on YouTube, the deleted scenes, like all this stuff with the Red Book was like so much longer. And the sequence that comes after this, after Bruce gets shot and has amnesia, lasted for a lot longer. But for whatever reason, I guess they kind of cut it way, way down to its like bare essentials. Because before here he says like, I remember this red journal because it's, it'd be the last time that my dad ever wrote in it. But before in the way that it was cut was he was bugging because it was like he saw a page that was like, Bruce really wants to go to the movies tonight and I kind of don't want to. And he's like, it was my fault. But then as an adult, he finally confronts the book again and he sees that it's like, but his dad actually said like, Bruce wants to go to the movies tonight and I don't really want to see the movie that he wants to see. So I guess he'll have to see that another time. Like realizing that it wasn't his fault that they died essentially.
Oh, wow. Some Goodwill Hunting there.
This bothers me so much. He's like, I want to tell you something. She's like, Bruce, you could tell me. And then she just starts making out with him. I'm like, let him speak. Let him actually open up to you. You terrible, terrible therapist.
She's just acting like most guys act on a date. Hey!
So she knows at this point, right?
I guess.
Does like Bruce have some like stank breath that she got? She's like, I know that taste. Spearmint and ash.
Alfred, you suck. You fell for that? That's terrible.
I just cringe every time I'm like, Michael Goff taking that bump kind of makes me nervous.
Yeah, and I don't think that was him.
I hope not. I mean, I know he's passed away now, but still. I hope that didn't contribute.
From complications from a stunt in Batman Returns.
I don't know what the significance of that thing that he has is, and they never explain it, but I don't care because that's pretty cool.
Well, it's the door opener to the Batcaver device. I kind of love this. This part right here, their futile attempt to escape, and he gives them a little Cary Grant left cross.
In like semi slow mo too.
Yeah. Dude, frankly, all white guy punches before 2000 were in slow mo. I'm sorry.
Yeah, this is the first and only time a villain made it into the Batcave. Is that supposed to be the table that they had that first?
Who just has a bunch of pumpkins in their house?
Now, this really bothers a lot of people. I just want to get your take. How he keeps flipping the coin until he gets the result that he wants. Which to me, I'm like, at this point, he's so not Two-Face anyway that it's just like, if you made it all the way to this point and you're now irritated, like, I don't know what to tell you.
Well, and also, the Riddler just blew up some vintage reel-to-reel recording equipment. I kind of love that.
Plus, we don't know what he was actually flipping for.
But that's the part that sucks, is we don't know the things that he's flipping for. And obviously that was a classic moment. Jim Carrey, ladies and gentlemen.
And here goes the beautiful Batmobile.
Too bad. You remember the ambiguously gay duo?
Yeah.
That's what their car looked like.
I mean, I like that Batmobile. I still think, like, yeah, I get what you're saying, but in terms of just, like, oh my God, his penis is really out in that shot.
Just the Tron legacy of it all, of that Batmobile, was a little just too much. I'm kind of yearning for this Battison Batmobile that's kind of just,
I like it.
Blade's car.
Yeah, it looks just like a Chevy that was just painted black.
Yeah. Oh man, Bruce. Alex Murphy.
So what I always have to correct people on, Bruce wasn't shot in the head. The bullet hit the wall and it ricocheted, and so that's kind of like a not a burn mark, but it's scraping the side. He wasn't shot in the head, and because he's Batman, he just his brains aren't splattered all over the wall. So yeah, in that longer cut I was telling you about, he has like full-blown amnesia for at least like a day or two, and he has to choose to be Batman all over again. And that's where that line really sinks in, where at the end he's like, I'm Batman now more than ever because I choose to be. Yeah. But here they're just kind of like, oh, you're fine. Just a flesh wound.
I can't imagine the burden of being as handsome as Val Kilmer. I mean, that had to be like a lot. You don't just get to be a movie star. You just got to work at it. But then you got to be walking around that handsome all the time.
Oh, yeah,
they got her all slave Leia.
I love that. This is maybe my favorite joke in this movie. When he's like, it keeps me safe when I'm jogging at night.
That's great delivery on that.
That is a cool jacket, though. I also love at this point
Brad you say? That's my favorite part.
The Riddler gets so extra that this is one of like 4 more costumes that he's going to change into by the end of this movie.
Oh man, the graffiti on top of the bat symbol. Oh, you sons of bitches.
Really? You are a police officer? You're like, who's doing that? Maybe the Riddler that's been leaving question marks all over your city for the last month? God, the Gotham police are so inept and stupid in this movie that I understand that Batman has to be like the ultimate savior, but they are just so Barney Fife bumbling around in this movie and in these next couple movies that it's like they should not even have a police department at this point because they don't do anything.
I think it's part of the kayfabe, though. You know what I mean? Because otherwise, Batman's just mostly getting in the way and sitting on the police scanner and sitting on roofs eating hoagies and stuff.
But I mean, like, I think Batman should always know more than the police do, but that doesn't mean that the police should know nothing. The fact that this guy literally is just like, who's doing that? It's like, really, dude? Really? It's Mr. Freeze. That's who's doing it.
Oh, I love this trope.
The new suit for the third act.
Mm-hmm.
But this is kind of where Bat Butt.
That's hilarious.
This is kind of where it started. Was, you know, at least for the Batman movies, is getting that new suit in the third act. At least it made sense in this one. The next movie, Batman and Robin, they just get it just because it's time, you know? Oh, I love that Robin suit. It's a riff on the Tim Drake one. Holy cow, that cod piece is huge, though.
I put the nipples on. I like them.
I'm actually really bummed that they didn't use this suit again in the next one.
I like his collar. The collar is sick.
I mean, the whole thing is awesome.
Yeah.
I think this Batwing is way cooler than the one from the first movie.
It definitely is. It's got I mean, a plane I'm okay with it not being stealth all the time.
What about the boat?
Well, you know, what can you do? It's a boat. It's a boat.
I feel like Batman put needlessly very dangerous exits in his Batwing. Like, if you're going to carve it all out, maybe not accidentally off yourself. This is the scene that really like underscores how I think the police are just so inept in this movie.
I mean, number one, the signal's coming from somewhere. Go to where the signal is coming from and see if their guys are still there. If they're not there, gather some clues to try to find them.
But it's just like, I guess they're not coming. I guess we're doing nothing. And then when Batman comes through and gives that that very memeable moment, he just shakes this guy's hands like, well, guess we're off the hook here. It's not like
we did it.
It's not like go send backup or anything. They just do nothing.
That boat looks like a dinosaur. I've been trying to think about what the hell that boat looks like. And why would he put his island with this much iconography on it? Like, it's like, come to me. I guess he's not scared of Batman.
No. I mean, technically, he hasn't done anything. Like, Nigma hasn't done anything illegal. Just selling his box. They don't know what it does yet.
That's genuinely funny.
But see, those are those jokes that I'm like, Jim Carrey must have just done that himself, right?
That is a weird thing, though. You're the screenwriter, and you write some lines for him, and Jim Carrey just goes, these are automatically worse than what I could do. Screw off.
Well, we had Pat Casey on one of the Hey Fandom things talking about writing lines for Jim Carrey for Sonic. And he was just like, yeah, like, look, Jim's going to do some Jim stuff. And, like, it's kind of just an honor to just watch him, take your words and, sometimes he'll put his own spin on it or he'll put his own jokes. Like, it's just kind of an honor to watch him work,
Dude, these frogmen, this is ill. Like, I haven't seen this in years, honestly. So, like, I mean, I saw a little bit of it before our redo of it.
Right.
But, like, watching it all the way through like this in rhythm, it's got some ill perils in this third act.
It's just like there's a lot to this third act. They do a lot of different, a lot of different little obstacles here, but that's what keeps it kind of like, this is like where all the bat action is. So as a kid, this is like your perfect third act. This thing becomes a submarine, like a transformer. Why would you leave the submarine?
So they could whoop some ass, obviously.
Do you think anyone ever went back to arrest them? Because we obviously know Gordon's not interested in helping.
Do you think there's 5 years later, there's just some bodies tied to a big kettlebell out in the middle of the ocean?
I love that shot of Riddler. That seems like such like a animated series shot,
Yeah, very much so.
Oh, I love that joke. Every time I saw this movie, that got a response from the crowd.
Yeah, it's a great one. Intertextuality, I think that's what they call it.
Does that mean like it's funny because you know what it?
Yeah. Something like that. I just can't get over Robin's collar. It's really cool. I don't know why I like it so much.
Actually, like in the Arkham Asylum or one of those games, how the new Robin has the hood.
Yeah, that's tight too. I approve of both the looks. I mean, honestly, Robin's had as many fresh costumes as Batman.
He's also had some pretty bad ones.
Well, yeah.
This one, this shot right here, I think is just. Hold on. This shot. That's such a badass shot right there.
Yeah. That took all day.
This whole kind of Rube Goldberg trap that he gets into right now, I still don't 100% understand what is happening, and I've seen this movie so many times. It's just shot in such a way that I'm like, I don't quite understand how you got out of it, but it doesn't matter. You got out of it.
Yeah, I guess it's like blades that are coming down to push you down, but then you just sort of crawl through them because there's a big space.
Yeah. And then he does something with like his boots that, I don't know. Already proving that he's, better than Batman in a way. But that's kind of the whole thing about Dick Grayson, He never was quite the nihilist that Bruce was. So this is the part that I'm just like, what is happening?
Yeah, so I guess, so there isn't...
So,
he's going to rocket boot. Okay. He burnt the things out, so the thing would drop out, and You're right. That was a little bit.
I don't know exactly what I'm seeing. I kind of understand it.
And we're not trying to be dicks about it at all.
No,
It's
no.
this is a giant enterprise. And that part just seemed like it cut together weird a little bit.
Even as a child, I wasn't 100% sure.
This is like that scene from The Cell.
I love too that I think his mask is just kind of like painted on.
I think it's got edges, but it's sick regardless.
Well, because, after he gets messed up at the end, it's kind of like smeared off, Yes, we know the plot of the movie, Batman. We've been watching. I remember they had this version of the Riddler as like a deluxe action figure to get like that costume. I never got it. How sad. Maybe my wife will buy it for me for my birthday.
Well, he's got a little beauty mark of green stuff there. That's so interesting.
Yeah, it's the little
for the question mark.
Yeah. Did you ever play the Batman Forever video game, like for Sega or Super Nintendo?
No. I think I jumped on really late.
I remember on this particular like level or sequence, like he had this big costume. He looked like a barbarian, like King Kong or something. But then it like split open, and then he walked out of it like normal. See, like they just water Two-Face down so much at this point,
He became the Riddler's thug at this point.
Right.
Which, I mean, how did Tommy Lee Jones read that and be like, yeah, that's cool.
Or it's
I'd
just
love to be Jim Carrey's thug for a whole movie. I went to Juilliard, by the way. I know I keep saying Juilliard, but I know it was like Harvard or something. But you know what I mean?
Well, it's just like, at what point do you, instead of trying to out Jim Carrey, do you try to like just make your character, like you said, more like, if you're going to make the argument that Two-Face should be more fleshed out, not that he needs to get bigger,
Well, yeah, no, absolutely. And what's wrong with him doing Two-Face more like Edward Norton in Primal Fear? You know what I'm saying?
Sure,
like,
yeah.
Dedicate yourself to being a very believable Harvey. But when Two-Face, or rather when the bad side of Two-Face comes out, it's a different person. For real, for real. This guy's all crazy. And this is a waste of Drew Barrymore. I mean, I know her career hadn't gotten into full backswing yet,
Right.
But geez Louise. And Debbie Mazar, for that matter.
Yeah, you're right. Two-Face just comes off as like a secondary, like the main henchman,
Right.
And it's so crazy because in a minute, when he has the final showdown with Batman, he says, "You were always a good friend, Bruce." And I'm just like, such a shame that like you waited until now to even bring up that thread, and it doesn't really matter,
Right.
That's the stuff, if I was Tommy Lee Jones, that I would have been like, wait a minute, Harvey was friends with Bruce? Why don't we put something more of that into the script,
Right. And I wouldn't be surprised if some of that's on the cutting room floor to make room for some more hip thrusting by Jim Carrey.
I love this. Bummer. All right, so now we get maybe the longest fall in the history of cinema.
Oh, but I loved this when I was a kid. Like, this got me. I was like, Batman is so cool. Batman does not give 2 Fs. Well, he does give 2 Fs. He gives an F for both of these people.
He gives 1 F to her and the other F to Robin.
Well, let's not examine that too closely.
This is another shot where I'm not 100% sure what just happened because his hands are still bound together. What did he just break?
He did the thing where you kind of move your hands under your butt and put them over your head without having to declasp them.
Got it. I guess I've always been so fat my entire life that the concept of bending your body like that just doesn't register visually.
I think the condition's called flexibility blindness. This is a great shot, though. The musculature, the shoulder looking, how it looks like he's actually able to hold the weight or whatever. It just looks it was looking really naturalistic.
It's so funny.
That was a great shot.
Seeing him, Robin with his arms up, just made me think, like, how many suits did they just have to rip to get that shot? See, yeah, it's just, and I what I do like though is that quite literally Batman now takes the choice of killing Two-Face away from Dick. So Dick gets the the comeuppance of Two-Face dying, but the blood is not on his hands. He kind of takes the heat for Dick, and I like that part of this movie.
That was funny as hell.
I always thought it was like, oh, he's going to come back because it was face up. And Superman's going to be in the next movie. So see here, you see the
I
mask.
love this, dude.
The mask is kind of like rubbed out, like it was all like glitter paint or something.
I think, it's glitter paint, and it got melted by the sheer energy.
It looks like they put some prosthetics on him because his head looks all bent out of shape.
Yeah. He looks like the leader should look from the Hulk.
Oh, totally.
He's like, what?
I love that now he's like cursed to just, all these memories that he sucked out of people. This is our first time that we see Arkham Asylum in live action on film.
Yeah, you're right.
So this guy right here, Dr. Burton, he's actually the guy that reads the audiobook for Batman Forever.
Nice.
And the novel of Batman Forever is actually really cool. There's some stuff in there that they go into the back story, the history of Edward as like a kid that I don't even think they filmed. But it's really cool. I'm not saying rush out and read the Batman Forever novel, but if you have it somewhere, you see it at a used bookstore, there is some cool stuff in there.
Yeah, I always love this ending though.
Again, just the way this is shot, the way that it looks, the tone, this feels very in step with the two movies that came before it.
I mean, there is some sauce. They were trying. It's like when an artist takes over for a long-standing artist, and they use some of the tropes or some of the inking line, to suggest a continuity. Yeah, very much so.
Honestly, I kind of think
they did a great job.
That moment is like super creepy. I really like it.
And it suggests that he could technically come back when he gets his mind back at some point, but he probably won't.
I think that was the first Batman villain that they didn't kill off. I mean, you could argue Catwoman, but in terms of like the major movie villain, that's the first one they like actually put away.
I'm not of two minds about it. I'm of one.
I don't need your weird Two-Face Buddha doll anymore.
Should get out of here with all that yin yang yang.
And here's just another person that knows he's Batman and we're never going to see again.
Well, I mean, in the new, supposedly more realistic version, 87 ninjas know it. So
That's true. I'm just saying, I feel like all these women are going to start like a Facebook group.
Yeah, we're the first wives club of Batman. This is the infamous wiggly ears.
But I mean, I love it. Like, this shot is so cool. Like, yeah, those things wouldn't stay put. And then we go straight into a U2 song. Hold me, thrill me, kiss me, kill me.
And where's the kiss from a rose in this whole movie?
It's not actually in the movie. I think it plays after this song in the credits, but it's not in the movie.
That's lame. I can't believe I didn't remember that part. They don't kiss a damn rose this whole movie? Oh, yeah, Don the Dragon Wilson. I knew the gang leader was familiar. Don the Dragon Wilson.
Bob Smuda. He was famously, from if you ever saw Man on the Moon, he was Andy Kaufman's kind of right-hand guys, quote unquote joke writer. So that was Batman Forever. You said you haven't seen it in years and years and years. Takeaways after now watching the whole thing.
Takeaways. You're right about the secret sauce. They kept a little bit of the Batman, the original 89 and Batman Returns secret sauce. They kept some of the inking, like we were talking about, kept some of the inking from the previous artist. They also did a decent job of bat action. It was better than I thought. Like some of the fight scenes where multiple people were getting taken out. Yes, there was a little bit of waiting around, but come on, what are you going to do?
I mean, I adore this movie, even though the whole time I was pointing out things that are kind of silly or stupid or didn't make any sense. I still just this was the first Batman movie that I saw in the theater, and I saw it like 10 times that summer. There's definitely a lot in this movie that, just like objectively or subjectively, whatever you want to call it, is just probably not very good. But I do think that it gets lumped with Batman and Robin, and a lot of the criticisms that are thrown onto this movie are actually not in this movie. They're in the next one.
No, absolutely. That point is put really home by this rewatch, is that this is in its own world of performance style. This is in its own world of a lot of things. So it isn't trying to be like anything else, and it's trying to be a little campy. It's trying to not take itself so seriously. It's trying not to be so dour as the last two movies. That's true, but it's also trying to honor the previous two movies as well. So when you think about those parameters for this movie to have to be inside of, they did a pretty good job at introducing a Robin that I never would have thought. Even as a little kid, I almost rejected Robin. This movie, I do remember as a kid being like, all right, Robin's okay. I rejected comic book Robin more than this Robin because it just seemed like he could handle himself.
Here we go. Here's your Seal song. As much as I crapped on Chase Meridian, look, I think Nicole Kidman's a great actress. I just wish that character had more to do than to just push Batman forward. And I think that character also is written and treated in a way as such that she's almost seen as like an annoyance to Batman rather than like helpful. But that's kind of how we treated women characters in comic book movies, unfortunately, for a long time. It wouldn't be for years and years and years later until, women got kind of an even playing field. And literally, that's all of Kiss from a Rose that you're going to get in this movie, by the way.
No! What? It's over, you sons of bees! Oh, my God. No, but I agree with you about women characters, and she really was a casualty on a certain level. But at the same time, she had a lot of sexual agency. She was choosing between Batman and Bruce Wayne, and she chose. So I think that's oddly comforting as far as a female character of that time.
So that was our audio commentary of Batman Forever. That was really fun. I enjoyed doing these. So if you liked doing that, or if you like listening to that, I should say, let me know and we can try to do a couple more. But Ed, thank you so much for joining me on this anniversary, this 25th anniversary of Batman Forever.
Dude, thank you so much for having me, and I couldn't think of a better buddy to watch this movie again with. I mean, just your passion for the fact that, yes, it needs to be considered its own piece of crap, separate from the other piece of crap. You separate those craps, all right? Because one piece of crap is pretty cool, it's pretty solid, and the other one's a runny mess that's been trampled on by a bunch of idiots.
Honestly,
You know what I mean?
I think this crap is like one of the ones that just slides right out, and then you go to wipe, and there's nothing there, and you're like, awesome. That's like
Yeah,
a free
hey,
pass.
This crap was true to itself.
I hope you guys enjoyed that, like I said, 25th anniversary of Batman Forever. And if you enjoyed this talk between me and Ed, I think you guys would love Reboot It if you haven't checked out Reboot It. And if you are a fan of Reboot It, make sure to check out Reboot Rewind. That's our new show. That's kind of our after show, going back and talking about old episodes of Reboot It.
Yep. And it's definitely an opportunity for you to interact with the show even more. We look through YouTube comments, we look through Twitter comments, and we kind of try to answer your questions about what went wrong.
So definitely check all those out. Also check out the Nerd Goat podcast, and they've got some cool stuff coming up, including a Kickstarter for Goat Comics. So you can check all that out at Nerd Goat. Is it just at Nerd Goat on Twitter?
You can at NerdGoat at NerdGoat Pod, I think, on Twitter, and nerdgoatpodcast.com. You can check out and also on iTunes and stuff. Just look in the show notes on NerdGoat. We have information about our Kickstarter. Definitely. Thank you
And of
guys
course,
for supporting.
Hot Takes with Billy Biz, you already know because you're here. But if you didn't know, you can go back and listen to the Batman Forever episode now, where we kind of get a little bit more granular with some of these thoughts. But I've had such a fun time. Thank you so much for listening. Next week, it is the season finale. Yes, we did re-record with producer Bill, also from Nerd Goat Podcast and Reboot It, and also DC Comics writer Mark Andraco. We are talking Man of Steel for almost 2 hours straight. It is the season 3 finale. Thank you guys so much for hanging in there with me, and I'll see you guys one last time this season next week.